Hi, thanks for joining me for this week's quick business tip. I'm Jennifer, and today we're going to talk about, not paying so much attention on the metrics, but instead building a loyal community of brand advocates who rave about your work and sort of the heartfelt techniques that can help you go about growing that. So we're not going to be focusing on going viral or anything else. We're really going to be focusing today on building that culture within your own community of past clients, current clients, potential clients, just anyone who is interested in your work and who is a fan and a follower. So what we want to do first is we want to look past the metrics. It doesn't mean that we're not going to track any of our progress because it's always a good idea to know for sure where you are in your growth, and you need to be able to tell what's working and what's not. But beyond the number of followers, creating this culture in your community is what's really important, and making sure that that culture is healthy and it's on brand for your business. So tip number one is to just stop chasing the followers, because let me tell you what, when you are growing your community, you quality over quantity is the key. So if you have 100,000 followers who do not fall in your target market, can't afford your services, don't have any need for your services. There might be, all about uh, your hairstyle, your clothes, your makeup, but unless that's what you're selling, they're not going to do you any good. So follower count is not going to pay your bills. They're not going to pay your mortgage. So you have to really focus on being real, getting real engagement from the right people that then you can spend time nurturing and building trust with, so that down the road they become paying customers, or they level up in your customer offerings, or, and this can be even better, they've never been a customer, they might never be a customer, but they can become one of the most powerful referral partners you've ever had. So here's the thing, loyal followers, the ones that are going to stick by you, the ones that love your content, the ones that are always engaging, always encouraging, those are the ones that you want to cultivate. That is what is going to turn your feed or your private group into this community of passionate people who are excited about you, encouraging you in your business growth, but also the type of people that are going to get value, and there's going to be some kind of a value exchange. They're also the people in your community who are going to be talking about you on a regular basis, because the more they're engaging with your content, the more top of mind you're going to be for them. And they're going to be a lot more forgiving when something goes a little bit sideways. Like maybe you launched a product and you didn't really test the website the way you should have. Things are a little bit bumpy. Your loyal followers are going to be with you and stick with you and let you work through those technical problems and come out on the other side, all of you together, better than before. So how do you build these loyal followers? Engagement is the key here. So even if you have a very small following or a very small private Facebook group, if that group is active and positive and engaged, you are going to drive far more sales than someone who has 1 million followers that aren't the right people, or they're not engaged, or not engaged any more than just hitting the like button, right? So when we're talking about engagement, we're not just talking about likes and follows and shares or even comments. It's about creating this conversation loop. So your community is more than just sales for you, creating sales for you in their community. They're also there to give you feedback, but they're only going to give you feedback if you're asking for it. And you can ask for it in a way that doesn't feel like, "Hey, will you take this survey or will you ask this question?" There's lots of fun ways that you can engage with your community depending on who they are, and what type of message resonates with them. Also, what type of value add is most appealing to them? For some people, sitting down with you for a 15-minute Zoom meeting where you can just pick their brain about, what they're looking for, what they're interested in, because you know this person is your ideal client. They just haven't done business with you yet. Maybe they haven't done business with you in a few years. If you can sit down with them and pick their brain, and they are seeing this as, "Oh my gosh, this person who's so successful in what they're doing is willing to spend time with me and like ask me questions and really care about me," then they see that as a huge value add. Now, there's other groups of people who would much rather complete a quick survey and be entered to win a $100 Amazon gift card. So you really have to know your audience a little bit, and then provide something that where you both gain. And a big part of this is remaining authentic. So you have to remain authentic to yourself, to your business brand, and also to the community that you're trying to build. Because authenticity is the only thing that is going to help you build these real relationships, foster real connection, and build the community that you're really looking for. I was working with a client and they had a pretty decent private Facebook group. If you were just looking at numbers, I mean, we're talking tens of thousands, but they had, in an attempt to correct some bad actors, they went and they turned off all other community posts. So they were really just talking at this community. The community was able to post in the comments, but when you take that sense of ownership, that sense of like free form communication away from your group of people, and especially the group that this business was trying to target, it really just like sucked all the energy out of the group. In addition to that, this business was not consistently having communication. They were not consistently posting. When they did, it was really just like sort of, they were trying to create posts that were uplifting or encouraging, sort of those like inspire you to get your Monday started right kind of posts. But they weren't even posting every Monday. It was very sporadic. It was all over the place. They might have 3 posts one week and then crickets for the next 2 months. It was really up and down. So what we did is we created a complete strategy, but a big part of that strategy was, number one, posting every single day. Number two, turning back, allowing the community to put their own thoughts in. So we allowed them to start posting again, knowing that we had someone on the team that was going to keep an eye on things and could just remove any posts, and potentially remove the people in the group that were posting things that just weren't following the guidelines of the group. As we worked on this and stayed consistent and stayed, we were very much in a value add, very nurturing. We weren't trying to sell anything during this stage. We were able to, with only losing a few thousand people in our group, reinvigorate this group. And it is now the most supportive, most active, engaged group I have seen on Facebook. They are just super passionate. They are all about helping this business and building this community and encouraging others. And it's so fantastic. But let me tell you, when we were working out this strategy, it looked like a lot of work, and it was. So this is not something that's going to happen overnight. You are going to need to put together a 90-day strategy and remain consistent with it. After about 60 days, you can start making some small tweaks. But the first 60 days, if you are working with a group that hasn't, that basically kind of died, you're just really pouring into this a lot of time and energy, and it's going to feel like a complete drain. But if you stick with it, this can become one of the most powerful tools in your marketing toolbox. So I have a few tips for you when you're starting to, whether you're starting to build a group or you're wanting to re-engage a group. This is going to give you a really good foundation so that you get off on the right foot. The first thing is you have to know your people. So whether these are dream clients or perfect referral partners or a mix of the two, you need to know who they are. You need to know what they are, what they're trying to solve. What problem are they looking at on a day-to-day basis? What are they afraid of? What do they want? You really need to understand who you want to cultivate in your community. And then you need to pick your platform. So a private Facebook group is very popular, very easy. Most people have a Facebook account, whether they are on Facebook regularly or not. There's also Discords and then other private platforms. It's really important, though, to be spending time where your target audience is already spending time. I have seen businesses close their private Facebook group, try to move them over to a platform where people weren't already spending time. And, some of their most loyal followers came and tried, but, it's one of those things where it's like, if you're not there anyway, it's easier to forget that there's this other forum over here, even if you love the content, you love the community, you used to be engaging, but now that it's just sort of like not top of mind, I I have seen 2 or 3 businesses go from, "We're gonna do this private platform, it's gonna be so much better than Facebook," and they popped right back over to Facebook because that's where their people already were spending time. LinkedIn has groups that you can use. There's places where people are already there. They're already receiving the notifications on their phones. They're logging in on their desktops. Don't try to move them somewhere where they're not. The big thing that a lot of my clients struggle with is getting on camera. I am an introvert. I really this has become more of a joy for me, but when I first started doing these videos for you guys, this was so painful for me. It was so far outside of my comfort zone. But when you are showing your face on camera, people are able to connect with you in a way that words alone don't do, and static pictures don't do. There's too much, especially right now, that just feels fake online. And the one thing that AI hasn't been able to create yet is realistic videos that are quick and fast and heartfelt, and where you are stumbling through a little. I mean, you guys hear me all the time searching for the word that I'm looking for, because I'm real, because I'm human. And right now, more than any other time in the last few years, people are wanting to connect with real people. They don't want to be talked at. They're sort of over all of the recorded videos that are available. They want to have real conversations with real people. So showing your face, doing quick lives, posting videos, sharing your personal stories, being vulnerable. This is what is going to really grow your community. And the last tip is to create those conversation starters. So post a question, run a poll, um, post a comment that you know is going to ruffle a few feathers, but like not in a bad way. We're not trying to trigger anyone. We're not trying to start a fight in your community, but it's really going to be like that thing that's like, oh, like I have an opinion about this too. And it might be like, I feel very strongly about this. I agree with you 100%, or I feel very strongly about this and I see it a completely different way. But the goal here in all of these conversation starters is to just have the two-way conversation. Because we all know social media can feel a lot like talking to a brick wall. And nobody likes that feeling. We're only going to do it for so long. But when you're just posting things and you're not asking for feedback, you're not, if the only thing that you're doing to encourage comments is say, comment below, that's not what's going to start the conversation. People need to be led down that road. It's just like when you talk to someone face to face, the first thing you do, how's your day? How are you feeling? What's up? Why don't we do more of that on social media? It's because we kind of feel like it's this platform where we're supposed to talk at people. And really, when you're trying to grow a community, you want to have a flow with your community. You want to have that conversation. You want to build those deep relationships. And I know that a lot of businesses are doing this in the DMs, and that is fantastic. And that is certainly a piece, but having that open conversation with everyone in your community where it's public facing is also key to really building the kind of group that is going to be with you for years. So what do you do if you have a community? You've built it, you're having these conversations. What can you do to really make sure that this community remains strong and really like grows in its own right? The first thing you have to do is you have to remain consistent. It is really easy to like buckle down and know that you are going to like do this community building for 90 days. And then like you start hitting your goals, people are having a conversation, and you just want to take a break. That is not the time to take a break. Maybe you need to find someone else on your team that can take over for a month. I know that last summer I let one of my interns manage my social media for a couple months, and it was the best ever because not only was I given a little bit of a break and able to work on some other things in my business, but I also came back completely refreshed and ready to pour back into my community that she had kept engaged for me during the summer. So you got to stay consistent. You got to have a content schedule. You have to keep showing up. Um, for sure, you need to respond to all the comments, messages, questions, and you have to do it pretty promptly. I check my social media twice a day. It is not a place that I want to live 100% of the time. And it's not a place where I want to set any kind of expectations that people are going to get an immediate response from me. However, I also don't want these people to feel like they're going to be ignored for 3 days. So as long as it's during the work week, I'm checking it twice a day. If it's on the weekends, yeah, you might have to wait a couple days to hear back from me. And because I've set those expectations and remain consistent, everyone's fine with it. The third thing that you can do to really continue to grow your community once you've built the right community is to offer some perks. So you can do discounts. I'm not a huge fan of discounts, but you can also do some VIP events, some like special workshops that are just for people in your community that aren't open to the public. You can also hold, whether it's virtual or in person, just some really fun events where you all get together and you can kind of do like a co-working hour, or you can just do a networking hour. Everyone can bring a cup of coffee and you can just have sort of a chat. Like post your question in the Q&As and we'll, find an expert in the room that can answer everyone's question today. That really builds this amazing connection with your community. You also want to make sure that you are encouraging your community, sharing in their wins, listening to their testimonials, and really fostering this environment of not only growing your own business, but also helping them grow their business as well. So we all know that the community that you're building is your tribe. These are your people. These are your raving fans. And if you invest in them, they will become not only your biggest cheerleaders, but your most loyal customers, and they will even turn into walking advertisements for your business. If you are ready to start your own community and you're really not sure how, I would love to get on a call with you. Just sort of point you in the right direction, get you off on the right foot. There's never any obligation or fee for the first consultation. I'm Jennifer with Limitless Impact Agency. Thanks for joining me.